More fire trucks. As soon as I come outside, see, look. As soon as I come outside, out around front, rescue squad truck comes by with the sirens blaring. Then the fire truck comes down the road, sirens blaring. And once it gets past my house, guess what he does? They turn off their sirens. That's never strange. Oh yeah, they're going to emergency. Now listen, now they turn the sirens back on once I talk about it. Every day. What are we doing today? We're not having fun. We're not having fun. I should have took this to my buddy's shop, put it on the lift. Because we're having to I got to pull the axle out of the transmission to get the alternator out. Ain't that ridiculous on these stupid freaking cars? This is why I don't do foreign cars. You got to take 1,000 things off just to get to one thing. So that's the alternator hiding up in there crooked. I've got to somehow find the snap ring that goes around the inner axle, pull all that out, as well as right here. I watched a YouTube video and the boy's like, oh yeah, you can do this in 2 minutes. And I watched it and he left out about 10 steps as he's telling about how easy it is. He left out the snapper. He's like, oh yeah, we gotta do this and do that, and then it'll pop right out. Well, as you can see, it ain't a popping and it ain't coming right out. Let me pause this for a second. See, here we go, back up and down the road again. See? This happens 5 or 10 times a week. They'll put their sirens on, come by my house blaring, go to the end of the road and start it all over again. See, now they're gonna go back around the block. Oh, we couldn't find where we're going? We couldn't figure out where we're going? We don't know where we're going? 4 or 5 times a week. Let me remind you, all the people in the audience, when I lived in my house down in Claremont, fire chief next door to my house, his brother, volunteer fireman, his father, volunteer fireman, owned all the property around me. I bought into family land, and they didn't like it. This is the same fire chief of Conover Fire Department, the Hedricks. The same chief shoots my dog between the eyes with a 9mm. A puppy, a pit bull mixed puppy that was friendlier than anything you've ever imagined. Just run up and lick you to death. Shoots it and tells me, oh, I was in fear for my life. Shoot, why didn't you go inside? Said it ran up on his front porch and he had to shoot it. Not true. So he leaves this dog laying in front of my garage door so my daughters would find it when we come home from camp. Come home from their summer camp. I beat this cop. I take him to jail for it. They didn't arrest him, of course. Had to sue him for it. The DA prosecuted him, found him guilty, and then he was going to appeal it to Superior Court because, guess what? You shoot an animal, that's animal abuse, and he didn't want that on his record. So then my perp attorney says, well, you know, they're just going to keep appealing and he'll have to go to Superior Court. But if the state's the one prosecuting him, not me, then the state should prosecute. But the state didn't want to do anything else. They just wanted to, they found him guilty in district court. They said, well, he's going to appeal to the next court. Okay, fine, let's do it. So then they dropped it after that. After he's guilty, then they dropped the charge against him for animal cruelty for killing my freaking dog. But the state ain't gonna hold them responsible. Right after that is when everything really went downhill and downhill fast for me. That's when the targeting was overt. I can't even, at this moment, I couldn't even go into telling you all the craziness that happened. But it was more than anybody else could believe. It was that destructive, what they did to help destroy my life after that. It wasn't no picnic in the park at all. I'll tell you that. But let me assure you, I had for all the trolls, this latest douchebag in the comments, you ought to check him out. Richard Kinsler or something like that. Another coward. Mason, get me the hammer, please. Another coward in the comment section. Talking about how I'm a con man. They keep on with this con man, yet they're not saying what I'm stealing. They still haven't come up with what I'm stealing from people. What am I taking? What am I stealing? That's what I want to know. What am I taking from people? And what does it matter if I don't have a 9-to-5 job? How is that anybody else's business but mine? You know what I mean? I guess they're jealous that they don't get to spend all day long with their kids. Their kids probably don't want to spend time with them. It's probably the deal. I'd say that's the biggest thing, is their kids don't want to be around them. Sorry, I like spending time with my family, my children, my son, my daughters. I like spending time with my kids. Sorry that you have a life that doesn't afford you that. Sorry that I do. I need the tools that we use, son. Will you get your tools out here, please? I'm gonna hook this all back up again, and then we'll go put it on a lift. This is what we're doing today. I've got to get it to a lift because I'm not pulling the axle out of the side of the transmission sitting here on this gravel. Some things I can do, some things I can't. If I had a lift, it wouldn't be no problem. I have it up in the air. I'd go ahead and pull that axle, and then I'd have it all put back together again. But that ain't something I'm gonna do right here in my driveway. I'm hoping I have permission. I had a subscriber visit yesterday, and he is a recent targeted individual as well. A lot of similarities in our stories. Before I posted, someone asked permission, of course. Had a lot of similarities. Even our names are dead on. We have that in common as well. So that's a big deal. Let's talk about what's going on today. Come out here today. Me and Mason drove up to Hudson, North Carolina today and purchased a drill press. $30 for the drill press. But that ain't the big deal today. Went out to get in a Bronco, and we drive up the road, got some groceries, come back home, and I noticed my truck's not running right. When we went to the lake on Sunday, it was idling real high, running real rough, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? Somebody took the plug wire and pulled it off and just left it sitting there. Another loose plug wire. Plug wires just don't fall off. Doesn't happen. So here we are again, more tax on my property where they can just come out here, unplug it. Remember, this thing, I ain't driven it in a couple months. It's been sitting right there. So, dealt with that. Somebody loosened plug wire and just left it sitting on the plug. So it's kind of fouled the plug. It seems to be straightening out now. So, Mason has put the interior together. All these plastic pieces. He's got a couple more he's got to do up around. He's got the insulation in, the rubber insulation around the doors. So now he's going to put the kick panels in and all this other surrounding stuff. But he's getting all these pieces in. You know, there are screws that hold that in, right? Once you get everything else done. Got the center console in, so he's working hard on that. Did you get the toolbox, put it over there? Okay, good deal. He's going to be working on that. I'm going to get pictures. I got to go to the Harley shop, talk to that guy about putting doing the estimate for me on this. But it's just so hot today. I am dizzy, very dizzy today. But a lot of similarities in our stories. Not only similarities in our name, but he lives 45 minutes from here. He considers himself a targeted individual. He has voices in his head. His life went all to hell at one time, just like me. Loses a job of 10 years. He loses his job he had 10 years. Just run him out of there for just kind of like a made-up excuse. He started noticing voices. Started noticing an airplane. He started noticing vandalism. He's all kinds of weird vandalism to his vehicles as well. Engines having to replace engines, transmissions. Tires going flat all the time. Also, he talked about the same exact plane, the salt air leasing with the bluish purple tips and the blue belly that I record all the time, 79514 plane from Salt Air. That one goes 45 minutes away and goes all over his house, following him too. Now, is that strange that he considered himself a targeted individual, a recent target within the last 3 or 4 years that he's been a targeted individual? And he's noticing the same plane stalking him. Oh, yeah. All of us people with voices in our head just come together online. We find each other out of the blue online and decide we're going to all be crazy together. And we've got the same airplane following us. Remember that Matrix Adjustment 4.0? He was talking about the same plane following him too. Boy, I'm really dizzy. I do not feel healthy right now. I'm very dizzy, and it's not safe. I don't know what's going on, honestly. I don't feel safe right now. I feel very nauseous. I've been nauseous since I woke up. I had a couple packs of cheese crackers and drank a lot today. Drank a bunch of tea, but I still feel really dizzy, and I don't know why. So I've got to get that. I got to do something. I got to either go inside and take a bath and try to cool off, or something. But before I post this video, I'll ask him permission. I'm not going to expose his name or anything like that, but another person who sought me out in person to come talk to me, trade stories. actually shows up and says that he is more than willing to help me on my houseboat, which is great. I need all the help I can get. So I hope it all works out. But I'm getting dizzier by the minute. I can't even hold on to this. Yeah, this is scary. It's scary. I'm very dizzy right now. Very dizzy. Oh goodness, I can't. Wow. I don't like getting dizzy like this because I can't function. I can feel a cold sweat. I'm really nauseous, like I could throw up right now. All this with a frequency. All they got to do is play a frequency. I can tell that I'm losing coordination. I'm losing coordination right now. Where they're hitting with these weapons. We got a good breeze, and it's about 85, but it's not overly hot today. But all with the frequency. Now I can't hear this frequency, but here I am trying to tighten up can't even hardly get the socket put on to tighten this thing. Very, very dizzy. Very dizzy. No coordination. Wow. This is not good. You don't feel well at all. I feel very, oh goodness. Not good. I've got to go. I got to go inside and lay down. Stuart Pill on the most targeted citizen. God bless. Pray for me, please.